Hey folks, MACT here, and I thought I'd do a little bit of a live thing. As you can see from the title of this thing, it is the strut bearing mount. A lot of folks going through these things. They are a wear item, so unfortunately after about 60 to 100,000 miles you probably got to replace the darn thing, and I have went through many of these. So I'm going to relate my experiences as far as the strut bearing mount and let you know exactly where we're at with this, because there are the good, the bad, and there's just outright uglies. And through the, I don't know how many sets I've been through, 2, 4, 6, 8. I've been through at least 8 of them, so, that's how it works, that's how it is, and that's everything that I go through on them. But just wanted to get things started here, see if I can get 1, 2s or 3s or somebody gathering up here to watch and see how things are going. But I can tell you, parts are not parts, when you buy certain things. And I've learned over the years what parts you can get away with and what parts you cannot get away with. And it always turns out, folks, the aftermarket is full of a lot of imposters. And they might seem good right off the bat, but you get 5, 10, 20,000 miles down the road, and all of a sudden that part is not exactly what you thought it was, and you end up doing the job twice. Okay, not a problem. If you got to pay for labor, it becomes a problem, so we don't want to do that. But that's life lessons, right? We learn, we go cheap, and then we learn again. And all I'm going to do is be that proverbial person that leads the horse to water, but I can't make you drink. So if you don't want to drink, that's your your decision. I'm just going to relay what I do know as far as parts, and I'm going to concentrate on one part and my experiences with that one part. And I know you guys are reading the numbers backwards here, but in the YouTube video it will be the right thing. But this is the part, and it is a AD-1100, and the part number is a BP8Z-18183-D. Now the D means that they went through a few iterations, because they all start out with A. So that means A, B, C, D. This is a 4th generation of this part. That's how you can read the number. So Ford has updated this strut bearing mount 4 times. Okay, now I can tell you for a fact, I know they've updated it, because the 2007 through 2010 Edge, especially the earlier models, 8 strut bearings for lunch. And I went through a lot of them and learned along the ways what can I do to make my strut bearings last longer. It wasn't the struts that were failing, it was the strut bearing. What happens is the center part breaks down, and then you start getting that dead thumping sound that feels like it's up in the front end engine compartment someplace. That's the first sign that you got something going on. Now if you hear a sound that comes lower, then that's more of your lower suspension. This will be up high, it'll be a dull thudding or thumping sound, and that tells you your strut bearing, where the strut meets, it bounces back and forth. So as it's moving around in there, it's making that noise, because the rubber part is pretty well gone. So what you want to do is you want to buy this part, and this is, like I said, a Motorcraft part. Be careful of sharp objects. You might cut yourself. And me, blood, every repair video has blood in it. But I successfully opened this box without cutting my finger. See, I am allowed sharp objects once in a while. But anyway, we got the strut bearing mount. Now I ordered this part number, by the way, is for a 2011 Ford Edge, and as you can see, not a real big thing, pretty decent size. And the first thing I'm going to tell you all, you got the sticker on here, as you can see that. There you go, focus, there you go. So you know what you got. You also notice it's got a notch right here. Okay? Now, here's the thing you want to pay attention to. On the original one, where is the notch? That's right, folks. When you take your strut off, pay attention where the notch is. Put it back in the same orientation. That way you got it in there right. But that's really what you want to do as far as that. And it will be mounted this way. Yes, because the holes, yes, the 4 holes go up. So it will be upside down. Now, I will tell you all, you do have to be very careful. Because if I remember right, I've had these fall apart on me accidentally. There you go. Now you can see you got all the bearings in there. I'll have to rearrange them all back in there, but that's the inside of what it looks like, and it's got packed in there with grease. So now that I've tore it apart here, I have to take and put all the bearings back in there and get everything situated. But just so you know, you get these bearings in there and you get everything arranged, you got to make sure that you get everything situated in there properly and that you don't have any issues. I'll repack that thing later and get all those bearings back in there. But they do come apart, so you have to be careful. If you don't want to do that, don't do it. But I just wanted to show you what it looked like with the bearings in there. And you could maybe even put a little more grease in there to make it work. I'm not concerned about the bearings because I'll just pack them all back into the original base and then put this back on top of it. But the thing is, what you really want to do is just make sure that you don't tear it apart. So now you've seen the inside and what it looks like, because there's not much to it, not much at all. But let me cover another portion of this. Now, inside here, where you see my finger, that's your failure point, folks. Right in here. This part here wears out. That's what actually causes your problems. It's not a metal, per se. It's like a hard plastic of some sort. And it gets worn out after a while. And then eventually it starts getting loose. And then you start having your problems. So that is where it wears out. Now, not all strut bearing mounts are made the same. Like I said, this strut bearing mount is a generation D. It's a 4th generation. First time I went to do it, I went cheap. On my 2008, the originals went out. I had, replaced them. And I went with, I forget what it was. I think it was some shop did it earlier on. I wasn't doing any of my own videos, so I had it done at a shop that I went to a lot, and they replaced it. And I don't even know what it was, but I'm assuming it was close to a Motorcraft. It was probably an aftermarket, but they replaced it, and I managed to make it up to about 200,000 or so with it, and then had to replace the struts again. And I went with something else the second time. I went with a Master Pro. Yes, O'Reilly's Master Pro. And whatever the shop that did it before me they bought something decent because it made it 100,000 miles. So, me, I'm thinking, gosh, I'm in financial straits. What do I do? Because I personally did not have a job at the time, and I needed new struts. I was just starting out doing a new job, and money was tight. We all been there, down that road in points. So I went with the Master Pro part, because you get it pennies on the dollar. O'Reilly's, Bob's your uncle. I tossed it in there with a set of KYBs, and the next thing I know, I'm driving down the road 20,000 miles later. Thump, thump, thump. That's right. Strut bearing mount went out. Had to do it all over again. Then I said, well, I'm going to go out and buy a Moog. So, then I got my money back. I got the strut bearing mount, replaced, but I just threw it in the garage. I didn't use it because I figured first one went bad. I ain't going to be a sucker and do it a second time. So I went and bought a Moog. Because, hey, Moog, yeah. 30,000 miles later, guess what? Moog's done. Yes. So, got that done, took that one out, got my replacement Moog, went out, bought a Motorcraft. Did not have any problems after that. Then I stuck with Motorcraft. Went that on my current Ford Edge, my 2011. Bought Motorcraft. 100,000 miles, no problem. Bought Motorcraft again. 100,000 miles, no problem. You see where we're going with this? Anyway, been doing KYBs. The KYBs have been keeping up with the Motorcraft mounts. So 100,000 miles, I change them. Now, what do the shock people say? Well, 60,000. Okay, I stretch it. But I'm all highway, a lot more gentler on the car than driving around cities with bad roads. Unlike my wife's, her strut bearing mounts are shot at 108,000 miles. So that's my next project for her, but unfortunately I have two Ford Edges that both need strut bearing mounts and both need struts. Now that's where I'm buying them in pairs, and I'm going to replace everything and get it all working, and we'll be good to go. But the strut bearing mounts, really it does pay to buy the, as they say, OEM replacement for Motorcraft in this case. I've learned my lesson, went down that road, and ultimately I've learned, and I've never tried OEM Motorcraft shocks after the originals because I've fallen basically for the KYB shocks, because after replacing them I like the ride better. I'm more of a person that likes to corner a little harder and do things a little different, and therefore I've really fallen in love with the KYB struts because I think they're stiffer and allow for better cornering and everything else. Now if you want the really soft ride, then go with the OEM Motorcraft struts and the Motorcraft mounts, and you'll be good to go. I would highly recommend not buying the quick struts unless you can verify a few things. Number one, there's a lot of quick struts out there for the first gen and the second gen, and Monroe sells a lot of them. Here's the thing, I don't know if any of you are using them, if you're doing that, but just keep in mind, are the springs the same diameter as the Motorcraft springs? Yeah, I think you're going to find, if you measure them, you're going to find you get thinner springs with the aftermarket. I'm not going to say they are, but if you take the time to measure your Monroe springs with the quick struts, and then also look at the strut mounts and things like that, and check them out, I think you'll find that you're probably not getting the quality you want, and they're probably riding lower. Thin springs will let it ride lower. So the best way to do that is, if you got your shocks, you measure your wheel, distance from the ground to the wheel well top, and then you put the new Monroes on, and if it's a ½ inch lower, there, Bob's your uncle. You got your answer. Yeah, it's that simple. As far as the strut bearing mounts, yes, Motorcraft is my recommendation on this. You just can't go wrong with it. You can pay to do it 2 or 3 times, but I like to drive 100,000 miles on my struts and shocks, and that's what I do. Now, again, my circumstances, all highway, interstate, a little bit easier on the struts and shocks than most of y'all. So I believe most people recommend, most manufacturers rather, recommend 60,000 miles. Okay, so if you want to do the old fallback, 60,000 miles, new struts and strut bearing mounts, new shocks, things like that. Some things on the off track, results of bad struts, you get inside rib wear on the inside rib of your tire. You'll start getting cupping. That's a shock or alignment, but usually I've found in the back, especially with shocks, the inside rib will start cupping, and that's due to your shocks, folks, not necessarily an alignment. So shocks will tend to bounce the tires. So when they get wore, they start cupping the tire, and the problem is once they start cupping, then they start bouncing on their own in a lot of ways, and then you end up buying a new tire too. And so you want to keep track of that, and I keep track of that pretty simply because I never rotate my tires. Once I put a set of tires on it, that's where they stay till they're worn out, and it's usually the fronts that get wore out first, and then I buy new tires, throw the rears on the front, throw the new ones on the back, and then off I go. That's just how I do it. Otherwise I'd be rotating tires every 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So, you know, I just take it how I get it, keep the alignment good, and you'll be in decent shape. So just keep that in mind on your strut bearing mounts, struts, shocks, all this suspension related stuff. You want to make sure you take good care of it. So you have to do this type of work. But I just wanted to cover the strut bearing mount for you all, and make sure that you are all having a good time on that. And I see we got quite a few people on here today. Got Tim on here and Jose and a few other folks. I realize it's a Saturday, everybody's out doing stuff, and I was just looking outside. Yeah, buddy, got strong winds, and looks like part of my fence got blowed down, and it's an old fence. I gotta fix it. It's an old wood fence, and they used a nailer on it and didn't do a good job when they built it. So I'm going to have to redo my fence next year, but that's next year. I'm not worried about it this year. Some other things that are coming up, I'm getting excited. Next Wednesday. Yeah, right. This coming Wednesday. Wow, it's this coming Wednesday in 4 days. Wow. Say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 4 more days. I'm excited. I'm going to have my barn built in my backyard, and I will get my garage back. And I'm going to be doing some video on the barn build, and I'll post that up on my MACT Garage YouTube channel. But I'm really getting excited about that because I have plans for my garage to turn it into a garage/studio where I can go out and do some videos. Instead of being in here in my office, I can set things up where I have a bench and I can do videos and talk about stuff and work on things, and hopefully get some different things going in the garage. It's not a big garage, but I'm going to make it work. So we're going to do that, but I got a lot of work to get there first. Other thing is, you know, I get that all done, then I'm going to move on and start doing some of the repairs I need to do, like struts. I'm probably not going to videotape me doing the struts. I've done so many strut videos. I'm not going to redo them, you know, just to do them. It takes a lot of time, effort, and there's nothing I can show you I haven't already showed you. I may videotape a little bits of it and, you know, stuff I do to do end trailers or something like that, but I'm just going to concentrate on getting the job done and getting them replaced. I got some LCAs that I have to replace on Lou. I'm pretty sure the ball joints are starting to get a little bit on the tap side, so I'm going to start working on getting some new LCAs. And then there again, in the LCAs, I'm in a quandary. I've tried Moog LCAs, and to be honest, they're not worth the 30 to 40,000 miles that they last. I've tried them. I got one sitting here in my basement. I'm probably going to go with OEM Motorcraft because I just don't want to redo the job twice a year, it seems. So I will probably not use that Moog and go with the OEM Motorcraft. See how those last, which I'm pretty sure will last a decent amount of time. But, you know, 255,000 miles on an LCA ain't bad. You got to say that much. So it's probably do that too. So a lot of big projects, big front end reworks, and that means that I'm replacing, you know what, I'm going to replace the springs too. 255,000 miles on the springs. Time for some new springs. So that makes this job cost more. And then tie rod ends, outer tie rods, I'll replace those. If the inner ones go, more than likely I'll wait and see how that works out, but right now I'm just going to replace the outers and do that. So LCAs, struts, outer tie rods, I should be good to go. New springs, and then the front end will be done. The next thing I need to concentrate on is the wife's car, and then eventually move to the rear of Lou and replace the rear springs and the rear trailing arms, because I'm sure those bushings are all dried and nasty and cracked anyway. So give Lou a good ride again. Put her back into the new category. So you'll be seeing something new there when I drop the rear end down and remove the springs and replace the springs and the trailing arm, and then get the alignment done and all that stuff. I'll probably replace the cam bolts because the cam bolts are all rusty and nasty, so you might as well have new bolts there. basically rebuilding Lou, and just waiting to get her down the road again. I got let's see, I got 150,000 miles on my belt, so I got to get that done real soon. Don't want to be left hanging on the highway with a broken belt just because I was too lazy to change it, or just too busy right now. So got to get that all done. A lot of projects I'm going, and keeping things moving. So I'm working hard at trying to make sure I get everything done the right way, and get it done the right way the first time. Isn't that how it works? The first time? So we're going to go ahead and go that direction. But other than that, I don't see what else anybody's got comments to say. I just wanted to make this pretty much a strut thing, a little bit of suspension work, and make this a nice short MACT live today. I see that the group is doing well, and I do want to also let you all know that, hey, MACTFORDEDGE, yes, is now 3,100 members plus and growing quickly. Fastest growing Ford Edge Lincoln MKX group you're going to find on Facebook, and we are the best group. Okay, if you got a question, people always tell me, man, I put a question up and it's answered within minutes. You can't get it any better than that. You guys are doing great. You're all learning, and you know the answers, and you're responding appropriately, and that's very, very good. So congratulations on you all making this group what it is, because it's not just me. I may be the guy that watches over things, and Mano can't stress how valuable he is to all of you and me, and everybody that has input on there. So Mano does a great job at helping y'all, and you guys need to thank him a lot more. Okay, just keep up, thanking him, because he is sincere to the heart to all of you, and is a guiding force for us all to probably even model our lives after, as far as how we deal with people. You can't get a better person than that. So I'm not, I'll probably making him blush now and everything else, but he is definitely a good human being, and you guys, I'm sure that he's helped you a lot. So I want to put all the praise I can on him, because without him, I don't know if I'd be here, to be honest. So, that's really where that's at. But support the group. Make sure you invite friends here and all this other stuff. We want good people here, so invite them. Help it grow. Help us become #1. We're not that far from being the biggest Ford Edge group in the internet as far as Facebook and everything else goes. We're the best, I know that, but we will soon be the biggest one, and that's not far behind here, trust me. So as far as everything else, I would like you all to see your way at, if you can, help support the channel, help support the group, buying stickers, buying the t-shirts and all this stuff. If you see you want to get something, MACT t-shirt or stickers, they're there. Go to MACTgarage.com and the social media tab. Hit the donate button. Hit the AK printing link. You can buy the t-shirts. The donate button will help you buy the stickers, and it tells you the price on the stickers. I got a ton of stickers for sale yet, and spent a lot of money on them, and I got a stack. I got a stack, folks. Look at this, and I've had them for 6 months. Okay, show some support, show the group support, and get those, and that helps too. It helps everybody recognize you. And also, social media tab, go on there, register your name on the map so you can find out who's near you. And that helps me also. If I should ever go out and do a group meeting, I would know who's in the area to contact to say, hey, I'm coming your way, let's do that. Because I do want to get out further in different directions in the future. And, my job, I got to find time off, but I enjoy it too much. I like it. I like meeting you all. You're all a great group of people. I enjoy it all the time. So looking forward to doing that. So, help support it. Do it that way. You support me when you buy the stickers. You get something back for it. The t-shirts, you get something back for it. I get a little bit more to help fund the channel and what I'm doing. And make sure you like and subscribe to the YT channel too, because that helps me out there. Watch those ads. That's really what does it for me. If you just skip the ad, I don't get much for it. But if you actually watch the ad, I get more ad revenue because of that. So, and it also puts me higher on the tier and do it. And speaking of YT channel, I will be over 7,000 here shortly as far as that goes. The next goal for me is 10,000. And I don't know if you know how the award system goes, but if I get to 10,000 members on YT, I will then be given not a button, but a paper award from YouTube, and it's called the bronze button. So 10,000 puts my YT channel at the bronze category once I pass 10,000 members. But mostly all they do is send you an email and say, yippee, congratulations, you're a bronze member. You know, then after that, I'm going to have to have like 100,000. But, you know, hey, every goal is achieved one step at a time, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I do want to thank you for participating in everything that you do, and I wanted to keep this a little bit on the shorter side. So remember my fee at the floor today, and I'm having a great day, and I want you all to have a great day. And also MACTFORDEDGE.com. Join up on there. Go to YouTube channel, join there. This Facebook group, have a great time here. Join up if you're not already a member and you're watching this video. And also the Band of One plays some great music, so support the Band of One. And Mercy Girl has a couple one-liners at the end of this for you, and then we'll move on from there, and maybe a little bit of bonus footage after this.
Thank you for watching MACT's videos. Remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.